Let's talk about the newest thing when it comes to skater-owned shoe companies, Jamie Thomas's Warsaw shoes. Now, if you don't know, Jamie Thomas is an OG skater. He's been around for years. He is the founder and owner of Zero Skateboards. He also founded and owned Fallen Shoes back in the day before they went bankrupt. The new reboot of Fallen has nothing to do with him. He was also involved with Stray for a bit. Now, if you're like me, you probably thought he was some sort of owner in that. He was not. Now Jamie brings to us his newest skateboard company, Warsaw Shoes. And to announce the launch of this new company, he does a nearly 3-hour-long interview with investigative journalist extraordinaire, Chris Roberts, and the Nine Club.
I like everything. I like what you're doing.
I do want to preface, technically, I'm not really the age demographic for this. He claims that this brand is for 27 to 50-year-olds. I am myself 25, nearly 26. Ultimately, what he's talking about with this brand, I can see what he's talking about. I just don't think he's doing it very well. Also, I'm clearly not the only one that sees some issues with these shoes, considering that every single post on their Instagram has the comments limited. So with the brand launching fully now, it's out in skate shops and online. Let's talk about what Jamie Thomas has brought to the table here. What is Warsaw Shoes? Well, Jamie claims he wants to bring something different to the market, something no other skaters are doing. He claims that he sees a gap.
I just spent a little bit of time, trying to identify what that void in the market was.
What is this, you may ask?
It's basically like skate lifestyle, elevated skate lifestyle. And I'm into, nicer brands, and I want to wear nice stuff, and I want to have dope materials. And I don't know, maybe I'm growing up.
So Jamie says he's filling a void in the market, but also this brand ethos is pretty much the same as ours is yours. He kind of addresses this slightly, but also brushes past it in the most blasé way. Like,
ours is on that a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's really not much.
But also, he's acting like no skate brands have ever made clothes with nice materials. Like Palace and Yard Sale don't exist. Now, I don't want to say there isn't skate brands out there that don't make cheap stuff. There absolutely is. But it's also disingenuous to just act like there's no skate brands using nice materials at all. But also, he wants to come out and tell us how great his product is. Let's have a look at it. Here are the shoes that Jamie Thomas is dropping for the first Warsaw drop. We have the Chapter Mid and Low and the Stranger Slip-On. This is his elevated skate lifestyle brand. Now, to be fair to him, it is pretty clear that he is invested in the quality of the shoes, and he's taken the time with the materials to try and pick something that he thinks is of decent quality.
This is a white pig suede. Pig suede's super durable. It's, a little bit thicker than cow suede, and it takes more time to break down. At least the pig suede that we're using. I also use a pig suede liner. It's the reverse side of pig suede, so it'd kind of be like the nubuck side of pig suede on the inside, or the leather side. It's super supple, has a really nice hand feel.
And for the sake of argument, and without actually getting to see these products in person, let's take it on his word that these are really high quality products and they'll last for a long time. Where I think that he starts to go astray with this is the actual imagery of the brand. Like, I think the X right over the Ollie spot, which is for no corporate branding, is so cringe. Yeah, bro, we know there's no corporate branding. That's the whole reason you would buy this shoe. No one would buy this shoe if Jamie Thomas didn't own this brand. Like, you don't need the big X for no corporate backing. But to be fair to Jamie, the X is cringe, but so is Break Free from Last Resort. The way they print that on everything, if you've ever bought a pair of Last Resorts, you know it's on the laces and on the tag. I've always found that to be like a little much. They could definitely tone it back on that. Because we're speaking of Last Resorts, let's just compare them. Come on, we got to. Let's start with the soles. The Last Resort one is clearly more aesthetic. Regardless of performance, I think you can agree that the Last Resort one's at least a little bit more creative than what Warsaw has done here with kind of like the lines and almost Nike-esque type of pattern. Moving around to the back, I feel the same way about the shoe tab on the back. Last Resort has the little man with the eyes ducking over. Like, it's interesting, at least I think. It's not the most amazing art of all time, but it's good. Like, I think that that's a nice touch to the shoes, not having like a big word there. Like, I do actually quite enjoy having that little dude there. Warsaw have just opted to print Warsaw on the back of the shoe. The insoles between these shoes do look fairly comparable, the Cloudy Kush from Last Resort and this new Warsaw insole. Warsaw has done a good job. It looks pretty thick and pretty padded. Also, if we want to compare launches, it's way better than the one Last Resort launched with. Last Resort launched with a thick piece of paper, pretty much. So Warsaw's definitely outranked them on that. I do also think that just in general, the detailing on the Last Resort is better. Like if you look at the Last Resort, you'll notice the stitching around the eye holes is like curved and stuff. And the tag on each pair changes colors sort of to complement whatever the overall color of that shoe is. I think Last Resort do a really good job with the little details, which is when you're looking at a shoe like this, it's pretty basic. There's not a whole lot going on. It's really in the details where we're looking. So I think that Last Resort is just doing all of the details way better than Warsaw is. All right, enough with the shoes though. This is a shoes and apparel brand. So let's take a look at some of the clothing. Now, he does also say that this is quality goods.
These fleece is, we created it, or I created it. It's French terry, 100% cotton, really nice, high quality fleece. Got kind of a suede touch to it, feels really soft.
But my problem with the shoes kind of continues into my problem with the clothes, which is I'm not really sure what he's doing with the art direction. Let's have a look at some of these pieces and also keep in mind that it's supposed to be for a mature skateboarder. First up, this t-shirt with the little logo on the breast. To be honest, no one's batting an eye at this thing. Who cares? Like, you see these shirts all the time. It doesn't matter that it's now a W. I feel like this one is just nothing. This Warsaw hoodie is where things start to go slightly astray, in my opinion. Now, I won't say I don't think dudes in their mid-40s don't wear logos across their chest. They do. A lot of people do. I kind of do think, though, that when you're getting to that age, a lot of people are phasing that part out of their wardrobe. But for the sake of argument, let's say everybody at 45 wears big logos across their chest. What I do kind of have an issue with is like, I think Warsaw personally sounds dumb. It is not a good name. It is a violent event.
War never changes.
And a violent instrument combined.
With the magic of my polymerization card, I'll combine
The most basic genre of video game and movie, and the most basic tool in your shed.
you now face.
Warsaw shoes and clothing. And it rhymes. Oh man, that's sick. You sound like you're 4, bro. So Jamie does say that there is some meaning behind the name Warsaw, like it's Joy Division's old name before they were Joy Division, as well as he thinks the brand kind of has the vibe of the Eastern Bloc because Warsaw is a capital city in Poland. But ultimately, and he says it in this interview, he went with the name because he thinks it's cool and he thinks it sounds familiar. These other things are secondary factors. The main thing is he thinks Warsaw sounds cool.
But, you know, to be really clear, I thought it was a familiar sounding name, a cool sounding name, and it looks really aesthetically pleasing with the WA on both ends. And so I really just liked the aesthetic of it, the way it sounded.
He also said he took so long to design this logo and like it was the coolest way he could think to do the 2 W's together. But dude, this stuff is just bad. Like this is not a good logo. But all right, let's get back to the clothes. And next up, we have the collab. Now this is going to be a staple within this brand. Jamie says he plans to do a collab with each drop. He said he also intends on paying the artists he works with a higher royalty.
I offered him a higher than average royalty again.
Now I do think that idea of paying an artist a higher royalty is good. He even says that these products will be extra, so he's sort of passing it on to the consumer. I also don't even mind that. I think it's kind of implied. If you're paying for a collab, you should be paying extra, so the artist is getting some of that money. So the collab is with Ed Templeton, skate legend. He is the owner of Toy Machine. If you know who Jamie Thomas is, you probably know who Ed Templeton is. Look at this hoodie. Can you imagine a mid-40-year-old dude down the grocery store in the Illuminati eye hoodie or the all-seeing eye hoodie? It's an eye on a hoodie. Dude, it is bad. Like, he multiple times states in this interview that, oh, I'm making a brand for the older skateboarder. I'm making it for the retired skateboarder even, he says in parts of it.
The target demographic for this brand is like 27 to 55. That's like the target demographic. If some kids are into it, cool. If some OGs past 55 are into it, cool. But that's really, and if I really tried to narrow in on what I thought the average customer would be, I'd probably say late 30s, 40.
Tell me that this eye hoodie is not for a 12-year-old. The slip-on is the worst offense of it, in my opinion. Like, having it on your shoes is disgusting. So, in my opinion, he's kind of missed the mark with the clothing. There's also pants in this drop. I don't know, man. They're pants, they're chinos. I don't know who's buying chinos in 2024, but I actually don't really have any super big opinion of these. They're pants. Like, I don't know why he's cuffing them. That looks bad, but like, it just look like pants, man. All right, so I'm done talking about the actual products, but there's a couple other issues I have with what Jamie envisions Warsaw to be. Like, for one, he claims that he's done a lot of research for this brand and what's going to work and stuff, and he's just like...
I mean, the designs they're not rocket science. They're classic silhouettes, and if you just went to a website and it had 4 shoes that looked this simple, you'd be gone in a few seconds.
Let's take a look at Last Resort's first drop. Oh, it's 3 shoes. Admittedly, these are more colourful than what Jamie chose to go out with, but also, I don't know why Jamie has gone with such a neutral palette colour here. Are you going to tell me that a dude in his mid-40s will wear an Illuminati eye on his chest, but he won't wear a pair of red shoes? Come on, bro. Also, I feel like the reason Last Resort might still be around just off a couple of basic shoes on that first drop is that they're an actual skate company and they support skaters. This is really my last issue with this company, is that it's a skater shoe company. That's what it said. It's actually an elevated skate lifestyle brand. Notice how he said skateboarding in that sentence every time. Well, here's what you might be interested to find out. Jamie actually doesn't want to have a team for this skateboarding brand at all.
So luckily, I'm not going into the core skate world. No, I'm not doing a team. I'm not doing that. It's not what I'm focused on.
You said that was
No, sorry.
He wants to do something a little smaller. He's not going to support skaters, which is what we would normally be used to. But regardless, he's still going to sell it in skate shops, so at least I'll be supporting Jamie Thomas and a skate shop. That's good, right? Well, kind of, because this is an elevated skate lifestyle brand. So his ultimate goal for this, and he's up front in this 9 Club, he says it in this 9 Club, his goal for this brand is not to be in skate shops forever. He wants to make it into men's boutiques.
Growth opportunity I see for this brand is in more of the lifestyle space, and that is in menswear boutiques and potentially high-end retail at some place.
I'm not saying he won't support skate shops, but also he's using skateboarding as a platform, trying to sell to skaters until he literally doesn't need us anymore, and then he'll fuck us off, and that's okay because he's an OG pro. Like, also though, I just want to take a step back and be like, this man thinks he's actually going to take Warsaw shoes and clothing into male boutiques. He actually names Neiman and Marcus in this, which I'm not super familiar with because I don't live in the US. But when I Google them, they sell actual brands like Balenciaga and Prada, and he thinks he's going to put Warsaw next to that? Like, come on, bro. But yeah, basically, I think he's starting a new company, which he's well within his rights to do, but then this company isn't giving back to the skateboarding community in any way, which makes it hard for me to see why skateboarders would support it. This is just Jamie Thomas making something for himself, both in terms of the product, like what he's making, like it's clearly what he wants to wear, as well as what this brand hopefully intends to achieve, which, despite him saying it's not about money, I don't understand what else it's about. He says promoting stories and telling stories, but it's like, dude, that's market jargon for you want to make cash, bro. You know who says they want to tell stories? Every marketing agency ever, man. To wrap this up, I kind of don't want to wish him bad luck with this. He seems like he's very invested in what it is, but Jamie came on the 9 Club for 2 hours and 45 minutes, claiming to have done heaps of research about his new brand and where the industry is at. And multiple times throughout this interview, I thought, has this man done any research? Does this man even pay attention to the industry at all?